Have you noticed that 2026 has quite a different feel than 2025, and that intense and sudden things are happening that you didn't expect? And apart from what's going on in the world around you, how about what's going on inside of you? Have you noticed at all that you're far more aware than you're used to being aware? That you have less patience, for example, for people who drain you, or you may have less tolerance when you're hearing conversations that are not uplifting or are not truthful? Have you noticed that your awareness is sharpening and you're a lot more clear about people and their agendas, sometimes very quickly? Well, that is the activation of your inner intuitive channels. They're coming quickly back online for everyone. But the challenge is how you're going to respond to this new awareness, how you're going to embrace and embody it. Because if we've had a whole lifetime of saying ignore, 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 you may not spontaneously receive higher awareness, higher insights, more perceptive, accurate insights, and be able to respond to them and be able to listen and follow. You might get confused. You might be far more aware, far more intuitive, but your responses are the old story. So today I'm going to talk about how to change your responses so that what is happening energetically and what you're choosing to do with it come together. So you get into a cycle of flow and become quickly empowered, because that's what the universe wants. That's what your angels and guides want, for you to pay attention and make different decisions. Respond differently in very specific ways. So I'm going to lay out some of those ways. I want you to give it a try and just see what kind of miraculous shifts can happen for you really fast. My name is Sonia Choquette. If you're new to my channel, welcome, welcome. I believe your intuition brought you here, your angels and guides. And if you're coming back, welcome back. Let's continue the process of becoming highly conscious, empowered, divine beings. That is the goal of moving into the fifth dimension. The very first thing I encourage you, and your angels and guides are encouraging you to change, is your understanding of who you are. Like, can you for once and all start seeing yourself as a divine spirit? Maybe you're not having a divinely spirited life experience just yet. However, if you see yourself, if you recognize yourself as a divine spirit, you'll stop fighting, resisting, denying all the wonderful insights and all the connections from the spirit realm that are actually happening with you. So that really takes a stretch for some people. Now, you may be already on board with this. You maybe have been working on this for a while and you get it. You get it, you accept it, you believe it. But even then, the response that you have to downloads and insights and intuitive connections really does need to shift into one of not like, oh, that's so weird, or I'm not, that's strange, to, of course. Of course I'm aware. Of course I can pick up something. Of course I have prophetic dreams. Of course, if I get an energetic feeling about something, this is a perfectly natural and important vibration or frequency to pay attention to. So making that decision, of course, this is part of who I am that I have ignored for too long and I'm not going to anymore, is going to be a huge game changer and will completely open the frequency so your guides, your angels, your higher self will begin to have an ongoing dialogue with you, an ongoing guidance. And that dialogue is not verbal, it's energetic. It's almost like a GPS. You might be walking one way and all of a sudden your body's going to say turn. In fact, have you had that experience? I have to tell you this wonderful experience I had about that with that. I was on my way it was quite a few years ago, to pick up my children at the time in Chicago from preschool in the winter, with it snowing, and we lived right by Lake Michigan, so lake effect snow was just a whiteout of snow. I'm driving to pick them up. I'm only a few blocks from home, but it was just too bad weather to walk them through that. I'm a block from school, and all of a sudden, everything in my consciousness said, turn. So I did. The vibration said turn, so I turned, and now I am driving in a different direction. Consciously, ego is saying, this is interesting, where are we going? But my spirit just following a track. So now I know I'm going to be late for them, and I keep going for maybe 5 or 6 blocks, and my spirit said, turn again. So, okay, now it's massive blizzard effect, snow, and I can barely see 2 feet in front of me. And I turn and I go a couple of blocks, and I come to a stop sign. And right in front of me at that stop sign comes running down the street a baby, maybe probably 2 years old, maybe not quite, because she was running in a diaper with nothing else on, right in front of my car in this snowstorm. And I instantly knew that's why I turned. I instantly knew that is why I turned. I was being guided to intercept this little girl. So I put the car in the middle of the street, in park, jump out, run and grab her. She was shocked to be picked up. Grabbed her, wrapped her in my coat. And then I'm thinking, okay, now what? So my guide said, my guidance, because I want to say guidance, because this wasn't in my words, it wasn't verbal, it was energetic. Walk. And this is one of the ways that you know you're getting intuitive guidance versus your head figuring it out. Intuitive guidance doesn't have a lot of words. It's very direct. And it wasn't even, I heard walk. I felt walk. I parked the car, baby's screaming now, scared to death, obviously doesn't know me. I hold her, wiggling like a worm, and start walking. And I not walked a few blocks this way, then I turned thinking, my logic brain is thinking, if I don't get any any something here pretty quick, I'm gonna have to take her to the police station, and my kids are waiting for me at school. And so I shut my logic brain down because it was just too much. Couple more steps and I see a house with an open door. Stop. Here. That's the feeling I got. Stop. So I walked up to the stairs and I rang the bell. Now a woman comes out, a young woman, probably late teens, early 20s. And she said, "Oh my God, what are you doing with my baby?" And I looked at her and I said, "Is this your baby?" Yes, she got away. Where'd you find her? I said, "I found her about 5 blocks from here." She was like, "Oh my God." I said, are you the mom?" She goes, "No, I'm the babysitter." And I said, "I need you to call your boss." And she was just panicked, but I wasn't going to turn this child over to this obviously careless girl. So she called her, and we're definitely able to talk. And I described the house, gave her the address, and she said, "That's my child. That's my babysitter." Had her describe. She said, "I'm coming home right away. Thank you for saving my baby." Completely, obviously traumatized. And I was just kind of in a dream. So woman gets her baby. I end up getting back in the car. Snowstorm is subsiding. I'm now quite late, like 45, 50 minutes late to my kids who've been waiting for me at school. But I just explained to them, I was sent by an angel to rescue a baby. And so put him in the car, drove back, show him where the house was, talked to the police later. But that's the kind of spontaneity that for me was normal, but not for anyone else. But guess what? It's going to start being a lot more invitation to let this kind of spontaneity take over you too. Have you had any moments where all of a sudden you got the vibe, the message, the frequency, stop, turn, call your mom, reach out to a friend? Because this kind of energy is intuitive fifth dimension communication. It's not a lot of words. It's not a lot of logic explanation. It's just connect. My daughter Sabrina was coming out of a building one day when she was in college. She is very clearly guided, as well as learned to keep her inner senses completely sharp. They're excellent. And she walked by a man who was well dressed, and she saw him, and her guidance said, but not verbally, energetically, stop, look. And she looked at me, looked dazed, and all of a sudden she realized the guy was having a heart attack. He was just right there on the street. So she immediately ran over. He kind of was not quite tracking, not quite unconscious. She called 911 on her cell phone and stayed with him until the ambulance showed up. And I'm quite sure that maybe the outcome would have been quite different, maybe even tragic, had she not followed that vibe. The point is the spontaneity. You're looking for angels, guides, out of this world, fifth dimension, complete energies, but this is how they show up. So that's what this year is about. That's what this new cycle, this new world is about. That's what new earth is about. So first you're going to start recognizing I am a divine, energetic being who communicates energetically. And I'm going to be available to that and not make it weird and stressful and ignored anymore. And then secondly, if I get a vibration, I'm going to just embrace it, embody it, and go with it instead of fight it, argue it, look around for general consensus approval because of a couple things. You waste time. And why invite someone's confusion to your clear download? And that is really why invite someone's clear confusion to your clear download? My whole life has been getting clear downloads with people saying, no, don't do that. They've always proven to be right. They've proven to be protective and giving me information that people are not online and not really energetically perceptive, don't even have a vote. So that's a second big decision, is if I receive guidance, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to shop it around for general approval. I'm not going to treat it like a hot potato I have to throw away. I am not going to act like this is not normal. This is our new normal, and it is barreling in. So we have to learn how to communicate energetically. Consider it like this, guys. It's like learning a new language. This is a new way to communicate, to receive, to get guidance. You don't have to treat it like it's bizarre. Don't use those words. Don't call it weird. Don't call it bizarre. Don't call it creepy, because it's not. It's energetic communication, and you are you're reclaiming this natural form of communication. I mean, think about it. When you were an infant, up until the time you were maybe 1.5, you didn't speak words, but you were energetically tuned into tracking everything. Just spend some time with someone who's 6 months to 18 months old and watch how they don't miss a thing. They are tracking everything. They are energetically 100% aware. We all are. Your senses got shut down through cultural conditioning and misinformation, ignorance. They're coming back. And when one's intuition comes back, then comes the next and the next and the next. Which brings us to what I mentioned before, but number 4. Do not refer to your intuitive experiences as weird, bizarre, strange, scary, because your subconscious mind is still listening. And so you're reinforcing the negative bias. You are reinforcing the confusion and the illusions that keep you from being energetically empowered and informed. So you have to change your responses. Say thank you, which takes me to the 5th thing I want to share today, is you don't have to explain it. You don't have to explain listening to your intuition. All you have to do is say, it's my vibes, this is what I'm feeling, it works for me. Now, here's the biggest leap you're being asked to make right now, is assuming responsibility for the choices you make. And stop being unconscious. Stop being powerless. Stop being led by others. One time my guide said, don't be a lamb chop, don't be a sheep led to the slaughter. And I laughed because I thought that was funny, because I have this image of a lamb chop whenever I feel like if I'm going to listen to my vibes or not, or am I going to just be led by the nose? Stop. So these are very empowering decisions, and they will tune you in clearly, directly, yourself, to your higher self, to your own angels, to your own guides, to intuition and direction that will protect you, connect you, help you create, help you manifest. But these are sort of the fundamental agreements to start living as a five sensory person, or as a fifth dimension person instead of a five sensory person. So it's a change of perception, because all this, it's all overlay. Oh, that's weird. That can't be me. I'm not sure I'm right. I better check with an authority. All of that is conditioning. All of that we now have to snap out of for real, that we cannot keep sabotaging ourselves. So it is a big leap, but that's what this year is about. Please, because I can channel my guides, you can watch people who channel guides. There's some benefit to that, and it can be a great deal. But what's far more beneficial is for you to start setting up the internal mechanism for you to receive your own guidance, moment to moment, no longer being a follower, no longer giving your power away, discerning, paying attention, noticing what is and resonates as true for you versus what is just not a vibration, not a match. So just remember, I am a spiritual being. I am going to receive my energy. Can energetically receive and communicate. I'm not going to fight it. I am not going to fight it. I'm not going to treat it like a hot potato or something that I don't want. I'm going to mature and evolve my response. And I am going to accept that this is my new normal and actually use the information quickly and in the moment, because I am energetically hardwired to pick up guidance. It doesn't come in words. We give that frequency words. It doesn't come in the downloads are energetic awareness. They're not ticker tape, telegrams that give you language. They give you energy. So what I'd love for you to do is, first of all, check your goals. Do you want to be a more conscious and empowered person? Because if that's not in place, none of this is going to happen. If you just want to sit in the sidelines and observe for a while, okay. But I can be pretty much guaranteed that you won't be able to do that all year. The world needs you to start living at a higher conscious frequency for a lot of reasons. First and foremost, for your own benefit, but secondarily, when you live in that higher frequency, you are a more grounded, non-reactive, safe, and loving person. So it is the gift that helps everybody. 2, you have to pay attention. That means you have to create quiet and calm and pull your head out of scrolling and numbing out. And 3, you have to get a little more spontaneous. You have to move your hips and be willing to change your direction and open up your mind and become a more present, spontaneous, responsive person. All year, this is going to get more and more and more evident. If you resist, you might be blindsided here and there. You might be sideswipes. The universe isn't slowing down until you get comfortable. We right now have to sort of catch up, step into this new flow. And if you do, you're going to have a wonderful time. Really quickly, your life is going to become quite miraculous. Please put in the comments where you stand on some of these decisions. Are you comfortable seeing yourself as a divine being? When you get your intuition, do you take it as my new normal, or do you still treat it as weird and call it something scary? Note to self, time to change. Do you go with it or do you argue it? And what benefit is the argument? If it's guidance, it leaves you peaceful, coherent, aligned, vibrationally harmonious. If it's your ego, you get confused, second guess, argue, back and forth. It's like a ping bouncing ball, a little, jumping jack, just not settled down. So pay attention to the vibe. If what comes through, and if it's short words versus short thoughts, bursts of insight versus long dissertations, guidance is very brief. Guidance is very brief. And then finally, just say yes. Just adjust. I am a spiritual being. I am energetically guided. I am hardwired this way. I started out this way. I'm returning to my natural design. These decisions, and I want you to write in the comments where these things, if you're deciding to follow them, what's happening, because you'll get immediate positive response. When you listen to your guidance, when you say yes, when you go with the flow, when you don't freak out, when you observe and you learn and you are informed in a way that is not your normal way of appearances, but actually a direct feeling of energy, your life does change. And by writing it down, you are affirming to your subconscious mind, which is your gatekeeper, I'm ready to live at a higher frequency. And I'm ready to have all the benefits, the protection, the fluidity, the magic, the mysticalness of it all, because it starts to connect you, like connecting the dots to unearth, to reveal this gorgeous divine plan for you. So leave your comments if you want to, on any level, bring this into your life as something that you might train others. You can look into my certification, click the link below. We're signing up until February 2nd. So if you see this by February 2nd and you feel called to take this further, you'll get more information there. But at any rate, that's what this world is moving toward. And again, if you need a guide, if you need some assistance in this, if it's really extreme, I have 2 books you might want to read. I have many books, but these are the 2 basics. Trust Your Vibes, book number 1. Ask Your Guides, book number 2. Those 2 books give you the whole reasoning for how to live at the 5th dimension. How to live with your guidance, how to connect with your divine support system, and how to get in flow. So thank you for tuning in. And please, if you're new to my channel, please let yourself sign up, subscribe. And if you are coming back, thanks for coming back. And I'll see you next week. All my love.